remember. I know that was a little.
I'm from the Congo. Everybody throw up your C's. Anyways, with that being said, no, I think that's a valid point because I think then my question is like, what differentiates? That's a word, right? Yeah. ACT. Word. Yeah, I took my SAT. I think I passed. But what then, makes that difference between a believer called to love or to exuberate this love of God that God has for us, and someone who doesn't believe and is a loving person, right? So then, how do we kind of, what separates us? What sets us apart in that case?
1 John do be talking about that.
Say what?
In 1 John, he does talk about knowing the love of God. Like that's how you know someone's a believer because they have the love of God in them.
Mm-hmm. Right, but if the premise is that, which I agree. I mean, I'm sure everybody agrees that people that may not be saved also love. So then, like, what? Yeah, go ahead.
What would differentiate?
Yeah.
So, I was just gonna say, kind of like another way to ask that question is essentially like, what does love from the Holy Spirit look like?
Say that again with the microphone.
Essentially, another way to ask that question is like, what does the fruit of love from the Holy Spirit look like? Since that's the one thing we have that non-believers don't have.
I think that
one of the fruits is love.
Yeah. So like
what differentiates somebody that believes in the Lord, their love, versus someone who does not believe in the Lord, their love? What is the things that set us apart?
I would say source. You know what I'm saying? Like understanding the source.
But is there an extra level and like outpouring of it from the Holy Spirit?
And that's like literally the fruit of spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. All the things that encompass the gifts and the fruits that the Holy Spirit gives in all of us, so that we can exemplify it not only with ourselves, but with others around us, prioritizing the brethren, because they'll know us by our love. It's like we have to love each other first, Now, like I said, the difference is the fact that we have a connection to the direct source and we're understanding where it's going so that we do not credit it to ourselves. Yeah. Because that's a lot of times what happens is people experience or even get to partake in things that are benefits of the body, you know what I'm saying? Or just benefits of being human. And it's things that God's orchestrated for us and God's allowed us to experience based off of his general kindness towards us and general revelation, you know what I'm saying? And things that he allows us to see and experience. But by not crediting the source, you are withholding something that he desires, which is worship. And so I think that, yes, you can have a loving couple, you know what I'm saying? But as far as, I do believe there's a level as to which, as believers, we're going to exemplify love differently for different reasons. Yeah. But I think it's more so connected to the source. But like I said, but also talks about what type of level we're addressing.
Yeah, because there's the aspect of Jesus says that if you love your enemies, even tax collectors do that, right? So he's trying to make this point that people that may not even believe in him,
even the IRS.
No. If you do, not love. If you do good to those that do good to you, even tax collectors do that. Like there's nothing that separates you from them in that case. Right. But if you love your enemies, that's a clear distinction of like, okay, this is a different kind of love because normally we want to do good to people that do good to us in return. Mm-hmm. And when somebody backstabs us or does any other things that we can list, showing those people love isn't always natural to us, like as humans, right? Like, would we all agree on that, or is that something that someone would probably say? Because I think for me, that really shows like a clear difference, right? When someone does me wrong, and everybody is telling me, even some believers are telling me, hey, you got to get your revenge, you got to do X, Y, and Z, but the Spirit is leading me and telling me, hey, you better show mercy, you got to show grace, you got to show kindness, and all of these different things. And if I walk in that fruit that we're discussing, I think it really goes a long way to show, man, this is a different kind of love than you simply, because if you give me $1 million, I'm gonna love you. I'm not gonna hold you, right? I'm gonna love you until I die. You feel me? But if you
forgive his student loans,
oh yeah, facts, even that. But if you take $1 million away from me, and I still love you, I think that really shows something different, right? Versus just If that makes sense, I don't know. If that kind of makes sense.
Well, you have any thoughts or stories about this?
About love?
About like what we were talking about, loving enemies or anything like that?
I don't get no love, man. I ain't got no love in my life. Nah, I'm messing. I think honestly, like, especially in my life, I've put a lot of like connection to love with like physical things and like tangible material resources, things that I've gotten in my life. And as soon as I don't receive those things, or if I even lose them, I almost don't show love back to God. When like bro was saying like that's the source. So I think with those experiences, it's really good to teach us. And I've learned a lot, even through my experiences, that love really is not attached to this world. And it's something that comes from the source, which is in the kingdom. So it's something I'm definitely learning. But man, like every time you think you got it, another trial, another lesson comes and just hits you. And it's like, oh wait, I really don't know how to love. So good conversation. I'm definitely just like kind of soaking it in and getting my thoughts together. But,
Yeah, because there's an aspect of love, and you mentioned kingdom and being kingdom people, kingdom citizens, where the Bible tells us to abound in love. Wherever you are, it tells you to keep going even higher, right? So you may feel like, man, I'm a loving person. A situation happens, you're like, ooh, I'm still falling short. But that's not the time to say, let me give up. God hates me now, whatever. That's the time to increase in love, because we're supposed to be people that are continually increasing in love and abounding in our love, especially towards those that are around us, so it can truly be seen that we do have love for the brethren, right? And so once we cap our love, so to say, right? Once we cap our love, I think that's kind of something that people can see,
Because then we're reserved and held back and not like fully submitted to the Holy Spirit and the Lord, like in that. Because obviously there's times of like being wise and not like diving fully into something, I guess you could say. So I don't want to say that like being free in the Spirit and being unreserved and unhindered is like not having wisdom and discernment at the same time. But it like in it basically saying like whenever we're abounding in love, it's something where we don't hit a cap to it, where we don't hit a ceiling to it. Like the way for us to continue to like to not have that cap is to like continue to stay submitted to the Holy Spirit, continue to Ephesians 5:10, trying to discern what is pleasing to the Lord in that time. And if what's pleasing to him is to go higher in love than what we ever had before, go further, make more sacrifice, be more obedient than we ever had before, like that's what that looks like. And sometimes like it'll be easy for us. Sometimes it'll be really freaking hard for us because of the sacrifice that's required.
Yep.